2003 S600. Never actually made a review on this car. I mean, I only had some videos what was done to it, but not complete, so later on we'll do it. Now, situation here is ABC system lost pressure. Now, hoses were removed, but not only hoses. Under closer look, when I remove hoses, I basically went under the pump and I saw that there is indeed some leak coming from the pump. I'll show you that in a minute. So obviously the pump sits right here and I gotta take all these things out. So it's not my favorite job, but it needs to be done. If you also look around, this has been there for a while. Now, this is fresh, obviously, and that is fresh, but this has been on. It's been going on for a while, although belt was dry, but all of this gunk accumulated in a long time. Let's take a look at hoses now. So when I took hoses off, like I said, these were replaced about a year ago, so they're not really that old and they're brand new. And my immediate concern was around the area where bracket is, which would be in right around here. And here I see no ruptures or damages. The hose looks perfectly fine. Expansion pipe, expansion hose also has a little bit of residue, but you see the residue only comes at the end here. So I'm going to warm this up a little bit. I'm going to slide the sleeve out. This is the area of the bracket. Usually they burst at junctions, right, where the crimps are, and obviously would have way more fluid come out if the hose would have been burst. Okay, enough of those. I think they'll be fine. I don't see anything wrong with them. Pump situation. This is the old pump, and the pump sits like this. This is how it sits. So basically when you look at it from above, you see only the upper portion, and that's about it. Now looking at this pump, we can see the fluid right here. Obviously there is some fluid that came out just right now when pipes were disconnected, but over here there was wetness, so it's it's not a bad idea to replace the pump. Besides, on top of all that, another piece of information, the pump was weak and it made the sound, so I'm sure that this pump was already on its way out anyway. And I happen to have a rebuilt pump just laying there. I had it from another car and it's fine, so I'll just put it in. Also, there's a little piece of metal there just sitting there. I'm sure that is during manufacturing process, although I can probably just remove it easily. Yes, it just broke right off. So see if I can retrieve it real quick, which is actually not a good thing to have any kind of metal sitting waiting to travel into the system. Here's a piece of metal speck right here. Not nice, but I think it's just because of the manufacturing process. The piece of thread just came off. All right, so it's getting late. Sun is coming down. I have to move on. So I'll put in this pump. See, it was rebuilt. This sticker doesn't matter anymore. It's been rebuilt years ago, but it's been on the bench, on a shelf actually, for a long time. It was capped. I just opened it up and there's fluid in it, so it's not like it was sitting absolutely dry. Sun is already down and here we are. It's been almost all day and now we're going to do a first start. I have my start diagnosis here with pressure because this was the initial problem. Pressure dropped to zero, nothing. Now here I put everything more or less back together, filled up reservoirs, more or less they should be all right. I have to check the final level later. And I have no radiator right now, although transmission coolant line is connected, so everything seems to be all right. And now we're gonna need to start this engine and see if we get any pressure. We might not get pressure at once, so we need to pressurize the tank. Well, first we'll start it and we'll look if any leaks appear. Sure enough, there is no pressure. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, look at that. I got so lucky. I got pressure right away. Yeah, this pump is pretty good actually. Well, relatively, let's say. So what do we have here? We have 180 bars, which is actually pretty good. Alright, so I do get pressure. Now let's look at this pump is actually much quieter than the other one that I had. Pipes with 180 bar pressure, if there is any leaks, it would be gushing out like insanely. And I don't see any kind of immediate crazy leaks. All of this is residual. Obviously I have no radiator, I have no coolant, so I cannot run the car for too long. It will warm up pretty fast. What I will do, okay, coolant level ABC, visit workshop. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on full heat, so that will give me a little bit of time. Now what we need to also do is we need to clear fault codes, restriction, pressure, rear suspension throttle, blah, 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 whatever. We just should get all the codes out of here, and then we'll see if we do have the coolant code. Oh yeah, coolant code is the fan. Obviously we have no fan. Take a look at fault codes. No codes in ABC. Let's go back and pressure. Well, I mean, it's not the greatest. I have to actually check the level. But I was very lucky. Yeah, there is. Yeah, very low. Actually, very low. I already see bubbles. So I have to shut it down. But now I'm gonna put the fan back in. And then I'm gonna do everything, you know, the level adjustments and everything when the vehicle is leveled. So now it's seriously late, and I just finished putting everything back together. And I did actually pressure wash the areas that they were like all in oil and what have you. So next thing we need to do is we need to do the rodeo. Now, not necessarily you have to do it, but I do it anyway, just to give it a stress test. If something happens now versus later. Now, fluids are topped off, so both of them, both reservoirs, power steering and hydraulic, the suspension, they're both topped off. Steering feels alright. It has this noise, but I'll deal with it later. So now we're looking at our pressure. The pressure is not the awesome pressure, as you can see. So it is a rebuilt pump after all. So we're just gonna do the rodeo, and I just want to see how low pressure goes. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the rodeo cycle, and it is passing the rodeo. And the reason I'm doing this is just like I do want to have stress test, as I said before, just before car goes back on the road. If anything happens, it happens now. Now, let's see how we recover. So we recover about 1 170 something, so the pump is very hot. So 170, say 175 bars. So most likely one of the pistons is a little weak, but nonetheless, if it passed the test, we'll be fine. So I'll be alright with that. So let's go and get this car into preset levels as it was calibrated, and pressure is 175, 74, 77. So let's say the average 175. It would be nice to have about 190, 180, 180, 190, but you know, maximum pressure is like what, 200, I think. So we're close to it. So I think one piston is a little bit weak, but this is totally going to work. System pressure too low stored. That is probably before I filled up. Well, yeah, this is not the greatest, but because again, I do have 175 psi pressure, but again, this was a rodeo test. Let's take a look. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's gonna work the way it is. It's gonna work, and it's gonna work for a while. So one piston is bad, who cares? So I'll just clear these codes and call it a day. If any codes come up, then we'll deal with it. Okay, whatever, pressure sensor, doesn't matter. I just don't even care. See if I can just do this without shutting down the car. No codes. Okay, fine. So this is it. The problem was the actual pump, and I thought that the problem was in hoses, but the problem was the actual pump. You see a little bit of fluid over here, probably some blow by, but nonetheless, it's ready to go. That's it. It's pretty quiet actually. Yeah. Alright, so this would be all. This car is ready to go for now. This is Victor at restoringmercedes.com. Thank you for watching.